still employed. I'm looking for the other two, so you know, I'll put them in touch with me. No, I'm actually at the moment writing a speech for Christmas Day for the royal family, but not for Prince Charles's bloody royal family, but for the other one. So that's where we're working, and I am very, very lucky to be in the position that I'm in. But things haven't always been as rosy for me as they are now. And as any of you here will probably know, I was imprisoned in the 70s with a trial that became known as the Shrewsbury Pickets. And for 30 odd years we've been trying to get the sentences overturned, and to either have a pardon or whatever. And at the time there were 6 of us in the dock, and unfortunately now there's 2 of the 6 have died, one of them being my mate Desi Warren, the other one being John Carpenter. And we've even made a TV programme about it, where we went to London and we went to the National Archives, and we asked for the documents under the Freedom of Information Act. And it was bloody ludicrous what they give us. I mean, we had to go in a closed room where they lock the door and the guy comes in and he sits with you on a chair, and you have to put linen gloves on to turn the pages over. And on the front in bloody big black letters it's got confidential. And you open that page up, and on the second page in red letters it's got Tomlinson private. Then you open that page and it had things like Harold Wilson was approached by 4 members of the Labour Party about the Shrewsbury Pickets. Then the rest of the page is bloody blanked out. And then you turn that over and it's got Len Murray said so, and then the rest of the page is blanked out. And it goes like this all through the document, you see, till it comes to the end, and it's got like a little few lines that says, this information is withheld in the interests of national security. Now, I could have understood if it said in the interest of bloody social security. But that was the position, and some lads, including Arthur, I can't thank them enough, they've campaigned for 30 odd years. And there's one guy who was actually on trial. He went to prison for 6 months, a lad called Arthur Murray, who spent the whole of these 30 odd years. It's become an obsession with him. And I think it's about time that we put this to bed, that we cleared it. We know what went on, we know there was a conspiracy, we actually know who the conspirators were, the McAlpines and the government of the day, the Tory government of the day. But as someone stated at one of the meetings that we've been going to the other day, we actually spent more time in jail under the Labour government than we did under the bloody Tory government, which can't be right. But to just digress and leave that, I know that Arthur's going to talk about a mass rally we're hoping to have next year, and the Shrewsbury campaign will be part of that, you know. But I'm in a position now where I've been able to buy my own house, and to make sure my children have all got their own houses, and my grandkids are looked after, and it's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling, but that should be afforded to every kid in the country, not just to my kids, because my fortunes have turned around. But I also know what it's like to have the knock on the door and open the door to the bailiff. And I tell a story, and I think the story might be in my autobiography. The bailiff came and the bailiff gave me 3 bloody quid. Because there was nothing to take. I had nothing. It had gone. And then I was ill, and a woman who I'd never met in my life, how she turned up at my house I will never know. And I was ill, was lying on a mattress in the bedroom, nothing else in the room, with an old blanket. She didn't know me from Adam. I could have been a mass murderer. And Maureen Singleton took me to her home in Conway, and she nursed me and she got me back to good health. And when I went back to the little cottage, my little pride and joy, this little little detached cottage in Coat Bowith, it had been repossessed. It was all boarded up and it had been repossessed, and it got sold for a few quid. And it's a dreadful feeling, it's the worst feeling in the world, and that's happening now. And only the figures are the worst they've ever been. There's more people losing their homes now than ever. And I think it's outrageous. Why should you, if you've tried to provide for your family and you've bought them a home and you've tried to furnish it, and then for no reason, through no fault of your own, you either come out to work or you become unemployed or you become sick or whatever, that they come and take that house away from you? That's bloody ludicrous. It shouldn't happen. And as Arthur touched on before, there's the bankers and the money men who've squandered billions, if not trillions of pounds, but this year they've already said they're going to give themselves massive bloody bonuses. The whale's gone bloody potty. The whale's gone absolutely potty. But anyway, what I want to say is, like, I apologise for my lack of sort of involvement for last year, Arthur. This year I think it's going to be a little bit different. We are organising 2 or 3 little concerts to raise a few quid, because I know That's one thing the party is sure about. And also, we are trying to get Arthur down to Liverpool to actually speak at a recruitment meeting. Because people read about it in the paper and they say, oh bloody hell, I don't, you know. But why don't we advertise it as a recruitment meeting? Say, we're going to have Arthur Scargill speaking and a couple of members off the top table here. And for people who want to join on, then let them know before they come. And I can guarantee the publicity for the meeting, and I'll sort the hall out and whatever, you know, the expenses won't be a problem for us. But also, I've just done a little part in a little movie called Nativity, and it was just a little cameo part, because the part I played was that of a Lord Mayor with the chamber of officer. Bloody Lord Mayor, like something out of the back side of a lantern. And it was quite a celebrated cast there, and the younger members of the cast, who were all the leads in it, I was only doing a couple of days now, they all come over, they all knew I was in the Socialist Labour Party. And they were saying, what's it like, and what does it stand for, and what's Arthur Scargill like? Is it all like this, is it all like that? And like me, years ago, I thought Arthur had horns and a bloody tail. Because that's what I'd read about him. That's what the newspapers had pumped out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And any youngsters coming along during the time of the miners' strike, they must have thought he was Satan and bloody shouting. But how wrong they were. And how, can there be anyone now, can there be anyone in the country now who doesn't appreciate that the man who spoke the truth and stuck to his guns during the bloody miners' strike was the man that's sitting there and representing. Sometimes I weep when I see some of that footage on the television, when you see the mounted police charging into women and a woman with a baby, and they're charging into it. And he was leading from the front. He's been knocked unconscious, he's been put in bloody jail. And you can't do any more than that. You can only lead by example, because I know that when we were on trial in Shrewsbury in '72, we had to subpoena. We had to subpoena the leaders of UCAT and the leaders of the TNG to come to court and give evidence for us. And I'm sorry they bloody came, because they were like prosecution witnesses. And that's the difference. I am proud to be a member of the Socialist Labour Party. I promise to buck up next year after, and look forward to seeing some of you at our next meeting.